Welcome back, English learners, to day 10 of our 30-day shadowing challenge. Today, we are stepping into a corporate environment to tackle a challenge that many professionals face: expressing opinions in business meetings.
That is right, Lily. Speaking up in a professional setting can be intimidating, especially when English is not your native language. You might have excellent ideas, but if you do not know how to introduce them smoothly, you might end up staying silent. Today, we want to help you change that. We will focus on 3 essential communication skills: how to interrupt politely, how to express agreement professionally, and how to disagree without sounding rude.
The goal of today's session is for you to listen to our flow and shadow our voices naturally. Pay attention to how we connect the words and where we place the emphasis. Let us start by talking about interruptions. In many cultures, interrupting is considered bad manners, but in a fast-paced business meeting, if you do not jump in, the conversation moves on without you. The secret is all in the phrases you use. For example, instead of just talking over someone, you can use a softening phrase like, "Sorry to interrupt, but could I just add something here?"
Exactly, Lily. That phrase is a classic. It signals to the room that you respect the current speaker but have a valuable point to contribute. Another excellent option is, "Do you mind if I share a quick thought on this?" This works perfectly because it asks for permission while simultaneously showing that your intervention will be brief and to the point. If the meeting is moving very quickly and you need to catch the momentum, you can say, "If I could just jump in for a second, I think we should consider another perspective." Notice how words like just and quick make the interruption sound much less aggressive.
Those are fantastic tools, Ethan. Now, let us look at the second skill: agreeing professionally. In a casual conversation, you might just say, "Yeah, me too," or "I agree." But in a corporate meeting, you want to sound sophisticated and reinforce why you agree. A powerful phrase to use is, "I completely agree with that point. It aligns perfectly with our quarterly goals." By adding that second part, you show that you are thinking about the big picture.
Another idiom that native speakers love in meetings is, "You have hit the nail on the head." This means the other person has identified the exact core of the problem or the perfect solution. You can say, "You have hit the nail on the head, Ethan. That is exactly how I see the situation." Or if you want to show full support for a project or an idea proposed by a colleague, you can say, "I am fully on board with that suggestion." Being on board means you support it completely and are ready to work on it.
But what happens when you do not agree? This is usually the hardest part for English learners because nobody wants to sound confrontational or create tension in the workplace. Disagreeing politely is an art form. You always want to validate the other person's perspective first before introducing your objection. A diplomatic way to do this is by saying, "I see your point, but I have a few concerns about the timeline."
That is a brilliant approach, Lily. You acknowledge their view with, "I see your point," which keeps them defensive-free, and then you pivot using "but." Another highly professional phrase is, "With all due respect, I think we might be missing an alternative solution." This phrase is perfect when you need to talk to a manager or someone in a higher position because it maintains a high level of professional respect while allowing you to propose a different path.
Yes, and let us not forget the data-driven approach. In business, facts win arguments. So if you disagree based on numbers or statistics, you can say, "I understand where you are coming from, but looking at the data, I see it a bit differently." This removes personal emotion from the discussion and shifts the focus to objective facts.
Now that we have covered these key phrases, let us put them into practice. Lily and I are going to simulate a realistic marketing meeting. Imagine we are discussing the strategy for a new campaign, and we need to make decisions on budget allocation and project deadlines. Listen to how we naturally weave these phrases into a continuous corporate dialogue.
Let us begin the meeting simulation. So, Ethan, thank you for putting together the presentation. I reviewed the numbers, and for the next quarter, I strongly believe we should move our entire advertising budget to social media marketing and completely stop our email campaigns.
Sorry to interrupt, Lily, but could I just add something here?
Of course, Ethan. Go ahead, please.
I see your point regarding the high engagement on social media, but I have a few concerns about cutting the budget for email marketing entirely. Our analytical reports show that our older clients, who actually generate 60% of our revenue, still prefer receiving updates and offers via email. If we stop emails, we might lose them.
Do you mind if I share a quick thought on that specific point?
Not at all, Lily. Please share.
I understand where you are coming from, Ethan, but looking at the data from the last 3 months, the conversion rate from our email newsletters has dropped by 40%, while social media sales have doubled. That is why I feel we need a drastic shift.
If I could just jump in for a second, I think we might be missing an alternative solution here. Instead of eliminating one platform, what if we implement a 70-30 split? We can invest 70% of the budget into social media to capture the growing market and keep 30% for a simplified automated email system to maintain our loyal older database.
You have hit the nail on the head, Ethan. That is exactly the balance we need. It protects our current revenue while maximizing our growth potential. I am fully on board with that suggestion. Let us update the proposal with those percentages.
Excellent. I will adjust the budget spreadsheet this afternoon and send it over to the rest of the team for a final review.
Perfect. Now, let us step out of the simulation for a moment. Notice how Ethan and I did not argue or raise our voices. We used professional transitions to navigate a disagreement, find a middle ground, and arrive at a superior solution. That is the power of effective corporate communication.
Exactly. When you use phrases like, I see your point, but, or if I could just jump in, you keep the conversation productive. The secret to mastering this is repetition. You need to practice these phrases until they flow automatically without you having to translate them in your head during a stressful meeting.
To help you master the flow, let us break down the dialogue and analyze the rhythm. When Ethan said, "Sorry to interrupt, but could I just add something here?" he blended the words together. In natural English, we do not say each word separately. It sounds like a single continuous wave of sound.
That is right, Lily. And when you agreed with me by saying you have hit the nail on the head, the intonation went up on the word nail and head because those are the content words carrying the meaning. This vocal variety is what makes you sound confident and authoritative in front of your colleagues.
Another phrase we used was "with all due respect." This is a powerful tool to have in your vocabulary. It acts as a shield, letting the other person know that your following words are not a personal attack, but a professional observation.
As you listen to this audio challenge over the next few days, try to match our exact speed. Don't worry if you miss a word at the beginning. The goal of shadowing is to capture the music of the language, the rises, the falls, and the pauses.
This brings us to the end of day 10. You are 1/3 of the way through the challenge, and you are doing a fantastic job. Mastering corporate language takes time, but every single phrase you learn brings you closer to your career goals.
Keep up the amazing work. Practice these phrases in front of the mirror, or even better, try using at least one of them in your actual workplace meetings this week. You will be surprised by how much more confident you feel.
Thank you for joining us today on our channel. Don't forget to keep practicing every single day because consistency is the key to fluency.
See you tomorrow for day 11, where we will dive into a completely new topic to elevate your vocabulary. Have a productive day at work, everyone.
Goodbye.
And happy learning!